Hello, beautiful souls. So, my name is Haylee. I am a Life Path 11 shamanic art therapist, and Life Path 11s, most of us are capable of mediumship. I, over the last few years, have developed various skills, including shamanic art therapy, including tarot guidance readings through angelic guides, and working as a channel through archangel Uriel. So for this pick a card reading, there are 3 piles that I have divinely pulled from the archangel Uriel. These are pulled specifically for the person or the people who are going to be called to these piles. So because angels know before things happen, so trust in the process. At the front of this reading, you see this chart. This is not a random chart. This is a shamanic art therapy medicine wheel. I urge you to please meditate on this medicine wheel for as long as you need to. And then when you feel ready to, focus on the 3 piles in front of you and pick a card. Once you've picked a card, you'll need to skip manually through this video to find your pile. We'll be taking about 3 to 4 minutes on each pile. So perhaps skip 3 to 4 minutes in, or 6 minutes in, you'll have to roughly find it. Okay, so I'm going to now start. However, please pause the video and meditate on this wheel for as long as you need to if you need more time. Alright, so we're now going to start with pile 1. So if this is not your pile, as I said, you're welcome to skip ahead. But if you have selected this pile, please watch the following pile with me. Alright. So for pile 1, the shell represents your reading. So for this pile, I picked 3 cards. Well, actually, the archangel did. I just channeled the vibration of the angel as I picked these cards. So the intention, I will explain it all shortly. I also pulled an archangelic guide, or at least these cards actually jumped out of the deck. So this jumped out for this pile while I was shuffling. Okay, so the first card is Union. This represents going into the month of July with the ability to understand that your relationships in the month of July are going to be very important for your development, for your success. Developing strong and healthy relationships with people, developing good connections with those who are going to favor you, and generally working on the relationships of those around you. Sorry, I just want to check something. It's still recording. Okay. The second card I pulled is the Queen of Earth, representing a need to, from that union, to ground yourself, to make sure that you are maintaining a grounded approach to how you go through the month of July. Keep grounding within your relationships. Keep grounding as the central focus around the unity. Use the unity to grow on your ideas, to collaborate ideas, because these ideas are ultimately going to be from your friends or family more than likely, and they're going to be there to drive you forward in your success ventures over the month of July, provided that you also maintain your grounded approach through grounding practices such as meditating. I would suggest meditations on the beach, forest walks, spending time in nature. with those two cards in mind, provided that you do work on those two things over the month of July, this will lead you into a really lucky path of abundance. And this abundance is going to set you free financially in the future, more than you have been in the past, depending on the person you are. This could be different from person to person. Remember, this is a generalized reading. But this is the intention behind the reason that you need to focus on the ideas within your relationships this month, and the grounding factor as well that will drive you forward into this path of abundance. So pile number 1, thank you so much for listening to this reading. I really hope that this works for you. If you are concerned about who to pray on over this month, the card that has been pulled for your pile is Isolde. She is the goddess of undying and everlasting love. You can feel free to call on her whenever you're feeling uncertain or a need to just maybe perhaps even call on her while you're grounding, to help you to feel a sense of self in the middle of working out ideas as you go along in this month. Thank you, pile 1. Okay, so that's it for pile number 1. I'm just going to check the number time in the reading. Okay, we're now going to head to pile 2. So for pile 2, this is with a feather, which I'll explain now. The reason there's a feather for pile 2 was because I had to pre-prepare these readings. I know what this reading's about, and it definitely does represent the feather, because I will show you now why. The first card is the 8 of Air. The second card is the 7 of Air. And the third card is the Love card. Now, what is strange about this reading that I pulled through channeling is that all 3 of these cards are angels. So whoever picked this pile is a person who is definitely on a journey of self-actualization. Let's go into the meaning of that now. So the first card going into the month of July is the 8 of Air. This card is about it's about checking on yourself as a person and checking on your beliefs, aligning to your true beliefs as a person, aligning to objective ways of thinking, ensuring that you're coming from a humble and aligned approach. Sorry, typical life path 11. I doubted myself for a second and had to recheck in the books. It was kind of roughly accurate what I was saying, except I was saying what was for this one, so let's just go back. So basically this pile is about that, in the first card, this is representing humility in yourself going into the month of July, focusing on your humility within yourself and your ability to see other ways of thinking, see other ways of believing, and to just be as humble and as true to yourself going into the month of July, almost going into it like with a childlike type of an attitude. And while you're doing that, to work on your self-belief, work on your alignment within your self-belief, so that the humility that you're going into with the self-belief, it's going to align you further, so that your self-belief is going to almost guide the child within you. So it's like inner child work for you in the month of July. You're moving from this really humble place into almost leading yourself as your own parent through your own morals and your own understandings, and moving forward with that into the month of July. And as long as you are taking this childlike journey of leading yourself through the month of July, you are going to reach this absolutely beautiful place of self-actualization, of self-love, of self-joy, where you're going to ignite the divinity within yourself and become this complete divine being that you're striving to become throughout the month of July. So for pile 2, what a beautiful angelic reading for you, pile 2. The angelic card that jumped out of the deck for you is Aphrodite, kind of re-representing this. You are on a journey towards, how similar are these, towards awakening the goddess or the god, if you're a man, within you over this month, achieving that self-actualization and finding your way into divine wholeness over the month of July. And this is the message for you. Thank you, pile number 2. All right, so last but not least, we've got pile number 3. For pile number 3, you have been given selenite. Why selenite? Selenite is representative stone that pulls and draws out negative energy. And before we get started, just so you know, have you picked this, in the fact that you've picked this card and you're watching this right now, the reason selenite is representing it is because it is a shamanic reading. I will explain it now. Okay, so it starts off with the 8 of water, followed by the king of water, lastly with the 7 of fire. So what do these 3 cards represent? We'll be getting into that now. Okay, so the 8 of water is about your attitude going into the month of July. And I'm just going to pause it, just to recheck it again. Okay, so I'm so glad I rechecked. That was exactly what I was saying. So, this is about your attitude. It's all about your attitude. And more than that, it's about an attitude of gratitude. So going into the month of July, the first card that is for you is focusing on gratitude. Gratitude for all you have. Gratitude for all that is currently with you in your life. Especially if you're a person who has been struggling, a lot of us have been at some point or are. You know, it is a time to start breaking your mind out of negative thinking. So how are you going to do that? Well, that is what the King of Water is all about, because the King of Water represents all of your dark beliefs and dark negative thinking patterns that you are going to have to start working away from over this month of July, so that you can begin to become that grateful, harmonious person. Now, as I said earlier, I'm also a shamanic art therapist, so this is a particular reading that I will be able to help you with. Have you picked this card pile? Then I'm here to help you today as well as a shamanic art therapist, which is really fun for me. So what I suggest for this pile 3, for what you have a project. Your project is to create a box. This box is called a surrender box. This is my surrender box. You can create your surrender box however you like. You just can go to a stationery place and buy yourself a little cardboard box. That's what I did. And you can cover it with color paper like I've done. It should look quite childish and cute as far as you can. You can use stickers, you can use color pencils, you can use whatever you like. Just get as creative as possible. Create this beautiful box. Make sure though that it is sealed tight and that it doesn't have any holes in it. There's a reason for this. Once you've created your surrender box, you'll be using it for this King of Water shamanic purging that you need to go through over the month of July. Releasing, now what is that shamanic purging? Well, we're talking about the releasing of negative thoughts. Negative thoughts that are holding you back from your greater purpose in life, your greater path. How are you going to do that? You're going to take strips of paper, and every time you have a dark thought or a negative festering thought that's continuing to be like a blockage in your way of thinking, you can work this out even more clearly if you like by trying out practices like when you're in your own space and no one's around you. talking to yourself out loud if you don't do that already. And then do that to the point where you start catching yourself repetitively saying certain negative things. When those things come up, take the strip of paper immediately for the thing that's coming out all the time, write it down, and pop it here into the surrender box. As you do this more and more, your negative thoughts are going to heal, especially if you're mindfully being aware that every time you do it, that as soon as the thoughts you've put into the surrender box are shut in there and are losing their power, because this box is magically muting the power of those thoughts and the way that they had control over you. You are going to then move into this beautiful path of the Seven of Fire, where you're going to naturally become this completely aligned person who is going to be able to attract, you're going to start naturally just attracting synchronicities, spiritual signs, alignment in every area of your life. So thank you, pile number 3. Now your angel card for pile 3 is Guinevere, true love. The romantic stirrings in your heart have propelled the universe to deliver great love to you through me, the shamanic art therapist, and I am so happy to help you with this pile 3, because I can tell you that I'm not just a qualified therapist. This is a box I actively use myself. This is the way I've used this with myself. It really does this. It really works, and I really suggest this to you. You're going to have such a beautiful month discovering this, and I wish you the best of luck. With love and light from Haylee.